Something that most people only dream about. On the first day of school, I forgot my pants. I biked to school that day, and only the fact that I had left a providentially matching pair of pants in my locker saved me from walking around for 8 hours in cargo shorts with dress shoes and tall argyle socks. This story was a cue for the senior boys to engage one of their more endearing talents, that of graphic whiteboard humor. There are a few artists in the bunch, and one of them started drawing each day a tear-off calendar labeled Days Without Forgetting Pants. I think it was the senior boys who, as a birthday present to me, originated the art of exhaustive teacher name puns. I returned to the room one day to find the whiteboard completely filled with such gems as Starboars, September, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Good Morning, Barack Obama, and boorget. Some of them had illustrations. In fact, I have a small collection of their drawings from the last 2 years. They include Sir Isaac Borton explaining the first law of grammatical motion, and parkour Boor destroying the planet by doing a handstand on a giant flaming baseball meteor. It's a long story. It wasn't out of laziness that I left their curriculum-based cartoons on the board at the end of class. I believed that their drawings deserved to be seen. They are masters of nerd humor. They know that in order for a nerd joke to be funny, it has to get the subject matter right. Humor is most salutary and most funny when it arises from serious engagement with serious things. And if I did not believe in the serious attitude of these students, I probably would not have allowed them the latitude to turn in essays with silly titles, which, by the way, I whited out when I shared them with my colleagues to talk about writing, because I didn't want to get caught allowing you to turn it in. Titles like Green Eggs and Hamlet, My Mind is Doing the Cartwheels, The Mityan Between Passion and Virtue, and Is There a Point to All This? This is not something that every class should try. I have taught 3 classes of graduating seniors. In each of those classes, I have had the good fortune to teach and seminar both in the 11th and the 12th grade. And this last class has been the most challenging, and they have also been the most rewarding. At the beginning of their junior year, the boys' class of 2019 felt themselves to be lost at sea when it came to literature and philosophy and the discussion thereof. They couldn't see how reading might amount to more than mere comprehension. They couldn't imagine what was expected of them. If they weren't supposed to produce a correct answer, what were they supposed to do? They were in the sea, and all they could see was waves. They did not know how to perceive or value depth. Depth to them was confusion, and that is not the case today. Already at the beginning of this year, I could tell that these boys had crossed a threshold. They were ready for depth and had gained a taste for it. They have maintained and increased this taste throughout the year. They can intuitively recognize the more difficult and important questions. And more than any other class, they have sought out the continuation of the more difficult parts of discussion outside of the classroom. They can pick up the aesthetic dimensions of poetry and fiction, describing their effect without reducing it, comparing between images without breaking the uniqueness of the particular. They are ready now not merely for jobs and not merely for study. They are ready for life. In one of our last discussions on the Brothers Karamazov, David Zaidanis, who, by the way, has been here since 6th grade and has never been mentioned by name in a class honoring before. He's the only one mentioned by name in this one. Let's rectify this real quick. David Zaidanis, David Zaidanis, David Zaidanis. David Zaidanis, David Zaidanis, David Zaidanis. Anyway. In one of our last discussions on the Brothers Karamazov, David Zaidanis was struck by the way in which every tiny detail of this long and complex novel resonates with every other. How across such a broad narrative canvas individual notes could sound against one another, like bells ringing across the steppe, producing a symphony of meaningful questioning and profound observation. How could Dostoevsky have been so smart, he asked, as to have written such a thing? But of course, Dostoevsky was not merely smart, he was deep. He was alive and attentive to the inexhaustible mystery of his own experience as a human being. And you too are not merely smart. You are not merely funny and not merely clever and not merely good students. You are deep and will grow deeper. You will not only learn, but you will live, and you will never, ever, not in a billion years, forget your pants. The last and most important thing which I wish to say about the boys' class of 2019 is that they are kind. In spite of their vigorous levity, they are immune to sarcasm, that weak refuge of the insecure. The opposite of sarcasm is generosity, which offers to each a boon of his own potential. Generosity takes patience and intellectual humility, and they possess it in abundance. And so I will leave them with better and simpler words than mine. First of all, let us be kind.